1. Introduction. My name is Pam. I was a young woman, just 20 years old. I met a man named James and loved him very much. He was tall with kind eyes and a smile that made me happy. We met at a small cafe where I worked as a waitress. He came there every day for coffee. Soon, we talked all the time and laughed a lot together. He told me he loved me, and I believed him completely. My heart felt very full. We wanted a future together. He asked me to marry him one sunny day in the park. We made plans. We dreamed of a small house with a garden. We dreamed of having children one day and being a family. Then, a big surprise came. I found out I was going to have a baby. I felt a little scared because I was young, but I was also very excited. I told James the news. At first, he seemed happy. He hugged me tight and said, "This is great. We will be a family." We started buying small things for the baby, like tiny shoes and soft blankets. We talked about names and decided on Fiona, for our daughter Fiona was born on a cold winter day. She was so small and perfect when I held her. My heart felt full of love for her. James was there too. He looked at Fiona and he smiled, but his smile was different. It was not the happy smile I knew. The first few weeks with Fiona at home were hard. I was very tired because she cried a lot during the night. James started to stay out late more often. He said he needed space. He said he was stressed about being a father. I tried to understand him. I still loved him and I thought he was just scared. But then, one morning, everything changed. I woke up and James was not in our bed. Fiona was sleeping in her small bed next to mine. I looked everywhere in the apartment. His clothes were gone. His shoes were gone. On the kitchen table, I found a small note. It said, "Pam, I am very sorry. I cannot do this life. I am too young. I am not ready to be a father. Goodbye." Just like that, he was gone. Goodbye. My heart broke into many pieces. I looked at baby Fiona sleeping peacefully. She was so little and needed me. I started to cry big, painful tears. He left us. He left me alone with our new baby. The man who promised me everything was gone. My world felt very dark and empty. Too, alone with my baby. Life was very, very hard after that. I was alone with my baby, Fiona. My heart felt heavy most of the time. I felt very sad and lonely. I cried often when Fiona was sleeping, but I knew I had to be strong for her. She needed me. She was so small and needed everything. I looked at her face and tried to smile, even when I wanted to cry. Money was a huge problem. James did not leave any money for us. The rent for our small home was expensive. I needed food for me and milk for Fiona. My small savings were not enough for very long. I knew I had to find work quickly. But who could watch Fiona? I did not have family nearby. Then my kind neighbor, Mrs. Davis, saw I was sad. She was an older lady and lived in the same building. She offered to help. She said she could watch Fiona for a few hours so I could look for a job. I was very thankful for her help. I found a job as a waitress in a local restaurant. I worked in the mornings. Mrs. Davis watched Fiona during those hours. After work, I went straight home to be with my baby girl. The money from the waitress job helped, but it was not enough to pay for everything we needed. So I had to find another job. I found a second job cleaning offices at night. After Fiona was asleep, Mrs. Davis would stay at my apartment to listen for her, and I went to clean buildings downtown. I worked late, sometimes until very early morning. I was always tired. My body hurt. I did not get much sleep. It felt like I was running all the time, from one job to the next, and then home. Sometimes I missed having someone to talk to, someone to share the hard times with. I missed the idea of a family. But then I looked at Fiona. Her small smiles, her little hands holding my finger. She was my little light. She needed me to keep going. Even when I was very tired, I knew I had to work hard for her. I had to make sure she had food, clothes, and a safe home. I often put my own needs last to make sure Fiona had what she needed. It was a very difficult time, but Fiona made it possible to keep going. 3. A new dream. Fiona was almost 2 years old. She was a sweet girl, learning new things every day. She could walk now and say some small words like mama and milk. Watching her grow made me happy, but it also made me think about the future. I worried a lot. What kind of life could I really give her? My 2 jobs were very hard work, and the money was just enough for now. It was not enough for my dreams for Fiona. I wanted her to have more. I wanted her to have a good education and a safe, happy life. Working as a waitress and a cleaner felt like it wasn't enough to build that dream for her. One night, I was cleaning an office in a big building. It was a lawyer's office. There were many books on the walls, filling the shelves. I looked at them. I picked up one book. It was about the law. I started to read a little bit. It was difficult, but also very interesting. As I read, a new idea came into my head. It was a very big idea. It felt scary and maybe a little crazy. What if I studied law? What if I tried to become a lawyer? Lawyers usually earn good money. They can help people with their problems. Maybe I could do that kind of work. But then I thought about my life now. I was a single mother. I worked 2 jobs, morning and night. When would I have time to study? It felt like an impossible dream. There was no time, and I was always so tired. The next day, I talked to Mrs. Davis about my idea. She listened patiently. When I finished, she smiled kindly. "Pam," she said, "that is a wonderful idea. You are a smart young woman. You are very strong. Look at everything you do now. I think you can do it if you really want to." Her belief in me gave me a little bit of courage. I decided to look for colleges nearby. I found a community college that had classes in the evening. This meant I could go after my job at the diner and before my cleaning job at night. It would be very, very difficult. I knew I would have even less sleep than before. But the thought of giving Fiona a better future, a better life, pushed me forward. I knew I had to try. I went to the college to sign up. My hands were shaking a little because I was nervous. I filled out the forms. I was accepted into the program. My first class was Introduction to Law. I bought a used textbook. It felt heavy in my hands. It was the start of something new. A small seed of hope began to grow inside me. Maybe, just maybe, we could have a better future. I wanted Fiona to be proud of her mama one day. Working very hard, my life became a constant race. Every day was the same, but always a rush. I woke up very early. I made food for Fiona. I took her to Mrs. Davis. Then I quickly went to my waitress job at the diner. I worked hard there, trying to smile at people, even when I felt very tired inside. After working at the diner, I went quickly to the college for my evening class. I tried to listen carefully to the teacher. I wrote many notes. My head felt full of words and ideas. Sometimes my eyes felt heavy and wanted to close, but I thought of Fiona and I stayed awake. After class, I went quickly to my cleaning job. I cleaned the offices fast. My body felt very tired. Then I went home. It was often very late at night, past 12 o'clock. Mrs. Davis was usually sleeping, and Fiona was sleeping too. I always went to check on Fiona. She looked like a little angel when she slept. I would kiss her soft hair gently. Then I would sit at my small kitchen table and study. I read my school books. I did my homework. Sometimes I studied until 2 o'clock in the morning. Then I would sleep for just a few hours and start everything again. Some days I felt like I could not continue. I wanted to stop. I wanted to just work my 2 jobs and get more sleep. But then Fiona would do something new and wonderful. She said her first full sentence, "Mama, I love you." My heart felt like it would break, but with happiness and love. James was not there to see her grow and say these things. It made me feel sad that he missed it, but it also made me feel stronger. I was doing this all by myself, and I could do it. For her, there were also small good things that happened. I got a good grade on my first big test in my law class. My teacher said to me, "Pam, you have a good mind for this." It made me feel very proud of myself. It showed me that maybe this difficult plan could really work. Fiona was the reason I was working so hard. Fiona was my strength to keep going. I kept running every day, running towards a better tomorrow for us, a better future for my daughter. 5. Good news comes. Time went by. Fiona was now 3 years old. She was a happy, talkative little girl. I was still working my 2 jobs and going to college classes. It was very tiring, but I was doing well in my studies. My teachers saw how hard I worked, and they were happy with my progress. One day, my teacher for law class, Ms. Evans, spoke to me after class. She said, "Pam, you are a very good student. You work so hard. There is a special scholarship you should try to get. It is for students who are doing well and need money for school. It is especially for mothers like you." A scholarship. This meant money for college. If I got it, maybe I could stop one of my jobs. I could have more time to study or spend more time with Fiona. This idea made me feel very excited and a little nervous. MS. Evans helped me with the papers to apply. I had to write about my life and why I wanted to be a lawyer. I wrote about Fiona. I wrote about my dream to give her a good life. I wrote about wanting to help others. I put all my feelings into the words. Then I had to wait. Every day I checked my small mailbox. I hoped to see a letter about the scholarship. Waiting was hard. I worried, what if I don't get it? One afternoon, a thick envelope came. My hands shook a little when I opened it. I read the first sentence. It said, "Dear Ms. Pam Smith, we are happy to tell you that you will receive the Future Leaders Scholarship." I read the words again. I got it. I really got the scholarship. Happy tears came to my eyes. I could not believe it. I went to pick up Fiona from Mrs. Davis. I hugged Fiona tightly. I danced with her in our small living room. "Fiona, Mama got the scholarship. We did it." Fiona laughed. She did not understand, but she was happy because I was happy. That night, I bought a small cake from the store. It was not expensive, but it felt special. Fiona and I ate the cake to celebrate. The scholarship money was a big help. It paid for my college classes and my books. It meant I could stop my night cleaning job. This was a very big change. I would have more time for Fiona. I would have more time to study and rest a little. A heavy feeling left me. It felt like the sun was finally shining on us. I was one step closer to my dream for Fiona and for me. 6, a past visitor. Life was better now. I had only one job, as a waitress. The scholarship helped a lot. I had more time to study and more time to be with Fiona. She was 4 years old. She was a happy girl. She was smart and funny. Soon she would start preschool. I was doing very well in my law classes. My dream felt closer. I felt strong. I was proud of myself and the life I was building. One Saturday morning, I was in the kitchen. Fiona and I were making pancakes. Fiona was putting chocolate chips on them. She was very excited. Then we heard a knock on the door. It was a surprise. Nobody usually visited us on Saturday mornings. I went to the door and opened it. I saw a man standing there. For a moment, I did not move. My heart stopped. It was James, Fiona's father. He looked different. He looked older. There were lines near his eyes. His smile was not the same happy smile I remembered. He looked tired. "Pam," he said, his voice was quiet. I felt many things at once. Surprise, yes, but also anger, and a little bit of old sadness came back. My voice was cold when I spoke. "James," he asked, "can I come in?" I did not answer quickly. Fiona came to the door. "Mama, who is it?" she asked. She looked at James. Her eyes were curious. James looked at Fiona. His eyes opened wide. Is this Fiona?" he asked softly. I just nodded. "Yes." He bent down to her. "Hello, Fiona, I am James." He looked like he wanted to cry. I let him come inside. We sat at the small kitchen table. Fiona went back to her pancakes. Sometimes she looked at James. "Why are you here, James?" I asked him. He looked down at his hands. "Pam, I made a big mistake. I was young then. I was scared. I was foolish. I left you and I left her." He stopped talking for a moment. "I thought about you both every day. I heard you were doing well. I heard about college." I was surprised. "How did you hear?" "I asked friends sometimes," he said. He looked up at me. "Pam, I want to be here now. I want to be a part of Fiona's life. I want to be a part of your life too. I want us to be a family again." He said he had another girlfriend, but it did not work. He said he knew now that leaving us was wrong. He said he was ready to be a father and a partner. He reached out and tried to hold my hand. His words sounded nice, but I felt something was not right. He wanted to come back now, after 4 years, now that my life was getting easier, now that I had built this life alone. 7, my strong words. I pulled my hand away from James quickly. His touch felt strange after so many years. I looked at him and asked calmly, "Why? Why do you want to come back now, after 4 years?" He looked down for a moment. He said he was sorry that he made a mistake. He said he was scared when he left. I listened, but his words did not feel strong enough. I thought about all the time that passed. I thought about the long, hard nights. I remembered working 2 jobs, cleaning offices late at night, and then studying. I remembered being so tired, so worried. I did all of that alone. He was not there. "James," I said, my voice becoming stronger. It was very hard. Raising Fiona by myself was the hardest thing I ever did. I worked so much. I studied so much. I did everything for her. You were not here. I looked at Fiona, who was quietly eating her pancake. She did not know this man, not really. "Your apology is okay," I told him, "but it does not change the past. It does not make the hard years disappear." I wanted him to understand. I was not the same person he left behind. I was not the scared girl who cried when she read his note. Life had taught me to be strong. "I built this life," I said, looking at him directly. "Me and Fiona, we are okay. We don't need you to come back now and fix things. We don't need saving." He looked surprised. Maybe he thought I would fall into his arms, but I would not. I had learned to stand by myself. "Fiona deserves to know her father," I continued. "So you can visit her if you truly want to be a father to her now. We can talk about how and when, but you cannot come back for me, James." I made it very clear. There is no us anymore. That ended a long time ago when you walked away. He tried to talk more, to explain, but I knew what I wanted. I knew what was right for me and my daughter. I showed him the door. He left our small apartment. He looked sad, maybe a little angry, but mostly defeated. I closed the door quietly. For the first time in a long time, I felt completely free. 8. A happy future. After James left, I felt a sense of relief and strength. It felt good to speak my truth. I focused on my studies and on Fiona. She started preschool and loved it very much. Our life was quiet and peaceful. It was a good time for us. A few months later, something new happened. I was at a coffee shop near my college. I was studying for a big test. A man at the next table spilled a little coffee on my book by accident. He was very sorry. He had kind eyes and a warm smile. His name was Mark. We started talking. He was a teacher at a school nearby. It was easy to talk to him. We talked about many things. I told him a little about my life, about Fiona, and about studying law. He listened carefully. He seemed very kind and understanding. He did not look scared or judge me. He said I was amazing. Mark asked me to have coffee with him again. I said yes. We started dating slowly. Our dates were simple. We walked in the park or just talked. Mark was patient and kind. He met Fiona and he was wonderful with her. He played games with her and read her stories. Fiona liked him very much. She called him Mr. Mark. My relationship with Mark felt calm and safe. It was not like the past. He respected me. He liked me for who I was now. He did not try to change me or fix my life. James called sometimes. He started to visit Fiona for a few hours on some weekends. I allowed this for Fiona's sake. He was her father, but my heart was not with him anymore. I felt proud of the life I had built. I was close to finishing college and becoming a lawyer. I had a beautiful, happy daughter. And now, I had a good man like Mark in my life. I was ready for our new, happy future.